Good afternoon, everybody. It is time for another episode of Get to Know Her. Are you ready to rock it out today? I sure hope so, because our guest, Carmen North, is going to be here to talk to us about life as a rock star. And before I introduce her officially, what a gorgeous day we're having. The sun is shining. We're live as usual from the Glam Jewels studio in Burlington, Ontario. Spring is looking hopeful. We've had snow up until this morning, I would say. But today I went for a walk with the dog, and you know what? There was just beautiful little trickles of rain coming down. The grass is going to be green soon, and we're going to be in great shape. So keep your spirits up. We're almost there with the spring. So before I introduce our guest, I did choose yet another satin top from Brenda Badome in black because I wanted to put my best rock star self forward for my interview today, and paired it up with these beautiful red and silver and clear jewels from who else but Glam Jewels. And you'll see I have like a 3-strand necklace on here. This camera, everything is backwards, so it's hard to see. There we go. And then little earrings and a bracelet, and all of this is available on our website, so you can check out our jewels there. If you're going to go shopping on Brenda Badome's site, however, you need to make sure that you use the coupon code Get to Know Her when you check out, because Brenda's offering us 22% off of our order when we order with her. So get yourself some beautiful spring clothes. And thanks for being here. I'm so happy you're here watching live. We're going to bring Carmen on in just a minute, but first I want to introduce you to her. Carmen North is a musician and artist from Oakville, Ontario, so just east of here, right down the street. She has written and recorded on 5 studio albums and many other projects. She has supported many great bands on the bass guitar and backup vocals as well. She is known for her signature art style, to which she has given the title of Carmen Toons, a name for her cartoons that she's been using since childhood. She's been making her cartoons. Carmen has been performing as the lead singer of Shot Down Twice for 2 years now, and has been making a serious reputation for herself as Queen of Rock. I first met Carmen in 2018 when she performed at a local event for charity, and I just loved her rock star sparkle. Everything about her is awesome. I want you to see for yourself. Here she is. Carmen North, yes! I love that. I love the glasses.
I love to take an entrance with glasses.
Yeah, they're perfect. Have you noticed, Carmen, as rock stars get older, they don't take the glasses off?
Yes, because it's like the bags under the eyes start to increase, so a really nice way to not look tired.
Yeah, it's great. I love it. This is so awesome to have you here. I'm really excited. Yeah, it's great. And I also wanted to comment, everybody, I was so happy when Carmen and I did the sound check, because we both had the same idea about wardrobe today. We're coordinating with each other, and happy to hear your favorite color is red.
Yes, always. I love primary colors, anything like that. And then against black, I mean, obviously. It's the way
it's perfect. Is there a reason you love red the most?
I think it's because I really have a very cartoony, like primary color kind of taste in things. Like my desk at work and my room here is like full of gumball machines and like just silly things like that. Like I'm just I love candy aesthetic and everything, so I just feel like red is like the core of that. And just whenever I'm drawing, I find that like I run out of my red marker the fastest.
That's the first one to go. Oh, I love it.
So I think that's determined that it's my favorite.
Yeah, definitely. That's great, because most people say blue.
Yeah, and I would say that's a close second. Actually, no, yellow.
I love yellow too. And there is a right yellow for everybody in clothes. I do believe that everybody can wear yellow. You just have to find it. It's like the red lipstick thing, right? Everybody can, just got to find the right shade. Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. That's what I like anyway.
So Carmen, tell us, what did you want to be when you grew up?
Well, so, I mean, I'm pretty true to like what I what I expected from myself. Definitely the first thing that I was a cartoonist. Like when I was a child, I was always really good at drawing, like right away, and just I was always very imaginative. So I was always having my art used as examples in class and whatnot, and like so that was my main thing. I had a lot of comic books that I wrote and comic book characters and whatnot, but I always was interested in music too, but I hadn't really heard anything heavy yet. So right when I was about 8 years old, I heard my first like heavy metal, and then I knew I wanted to be.
Wow. Where did you hear the heavy metal? Do you remember?
Actually, in Germany on TV, on MTV. So
That's
German
so
MTV.
Oh, that's great. So were you in Germany?
Yeah, I lived with my mom in Germany for a year when I was a kid. It was amazing.
That's amazing. I have to ask what part, because my whole family's from Germany.
Oh, awesome. Well, we lived in Ingolstadt, which is next to Munich. Yeah.
Yeah, I know Ingolstadt. Oh, that's great. I spent time in Cologne when I was about 19, and also was there visiting my cousins in the 80s, like at the height of New Wave and everything. And I remember coming back to high school with like clothes from Germany, and I had acid wash jeans before anybody had acid wash. But they were really cool. You know how like with European fashion, it's always done a little differently. So they were acid wash, but they had white vinyl patches on them, and they were like a balloon shaped pants. I wish I still had them. They were so awesome. Yeah.
That's great. They love parachute pants and stuff there. It's so funny.
I know. We got to get the parachute pants back. They're the best.
I mean, it's so comfortable.
It is. Yeah, it's great. Wow. So you were 8 years old when you heard heavy metal in Germany. And do you remember what band it was?
Yeah, I mean, as much as it pains me to say, it was Marilyn Manson was the first like angry music I ever heard, even though, turns out he's a
Yeah.
But yeah, he got me introduced. That was the first time I ever heard a scream in music, and I was just like, okay, I like this.
Oh, that's great. I love it. It's funny too, because especially for an 8-year-old, I mean, Marilyn Manson, his videos are pretty disturbing. My favorite Marilyn Manson video is Dope Show.
Yeah,
and
same.
it's because of the makeup. Like he's like the epitome of glam rock. But like you say, now forget him.
No longer.
No longer valid. Canceled, as they say.
Not the idol anymore. And yeah, it's like I like to kind of go on my personal feelings with that. It's kind of like, it's not that not allowed to like him or anything. It's just, how can you support someone who's an abuser,
Yeah, no, you can't do that. Exactly. Yeah. Wow. So Carmen, can we ask you how old you are?
Yes, I'm 27.
27. Okay.
27.
You look ageless. You actually look like you know what's interesting about you? I couldn't guess your age. I thought you could be 20, you could be 30. It's hard to guess, but I think the awesome thing about you, which I feel like I picked up on in 2018, was that it's like you've lived here many times before. You have like a wisdom about you and an old soul. I don't know if people have told you that before, but you just have this confidence that I did not have at your age. So when I met you in 2018, how old were you there? You were like,
oh my gosh, yeah, so that would have been, oh my God, my math.
Yeah, you would have been like 22 or something. And I just thought, God, she's like, you're so confident, and you've really got it together. Like you've got this like rock and roll, rock it out side to you, and then you're very like punctual. You're at this event, you're doing your thing, you're meeting and greeting with people. You're not to say that just because you're rocking it out means you're going to be a jerk when you're young. I don't mean that, but I just mean you've got all these beautiful elements about you, and it's great. You're good at so many things, so I commend you for that.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I think it's really important. Like I mean, in the rock business and stuff, it's just like, it just sets you so much apart if you're really respectful of others' time and whatnot, and, meet deadlines and everything. And just, there's aspects of it that are like a job, but I mean, it's really mostly fun, and it's all the job parts of it are fun as well if you just love music. So that's what
Yeah,
I think.
that's great.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about your like your high school years. Were you already into music at that time, or were you focusing more on your art? What was happening
I
then?
was I was a very interesting child. Like I've just had like so many different ways of being. Like it's just funny to think back because when I was like really like a toddler and a child, my parents said that I was very like kind of bitter and angry and always kind of frowning and scowling, and no one could make me smile or anything, which is so funny because it's so different now. But
Yeah.
yeah, I was a very goth child. Definitely like it was funny because I really looked like I was going to be a troubled child. I think a lot of people kind of thought that, but I never ended up being like troubled. I figured my stuff out. I think I was just an artist, and I had a lot of creativity and a lot of things going on in my brain I didn't know what to do with. So high school was definitely like that. Like I was definitely not the best student. It was actually starting at the beginning of high school. I started going to Toronto Rock Camp, which was the best experience ever. I went there from age 14 to 18, and
Wow.
like all the summers were spent there. And then in the winter, there was a winter program I went to as well. So I was always playing music throughout my teenage years, but never with anyone at my school or anything. Like, I just I didn't really hang out with the people in my school as much. It was always going to Toronto and hanging out with the music geeks that I hung out with.
Yes. That's amazing. And so it's interesting what you were saying about, as a little kid that you were frowning and that you were, it's so amazing to me because you must have been deep in thought. You must have been like a little bit of a contemplator, maybe even as a young girl, right? Like,
Yeah, I think in a way I didn't like being patronized even though I was a child. So I
yeah,
feel like when people talk to me like I was a child, I would just be like
right.
rude. But
Yeah.
it's just funny. Like I think that I was very like an old soul like from an early age, and
Hmm.
had a really hard time like relating with people my age. And it's not that anyone was not lovely. I mean, I grew up at a great school and have had, great people in my life and stuff. But yeah, I just think I had to figure out this whole life thing. But I've definitely reached a great place right now.
That's great. And when you went to that camp, what happened to you inside? Were you like, I found my people? Were you just so
Yes.
excited? And what happened inside of you? Were you just like, you felt like you were home, or how did it
Yeah.
feel?
It was unbelievable actually. Like because I tried to go to a camp before, but I didn't like it so much. I was trying to do like a drama camp, and I didn't like it. And then I don't even know why I agreed to do this one, but it was in Toronto. My aunt lived across the street from like the school that I was in.
Mm.
So I reluctantly agreed to go, but it was just like the first day, just instantly I felt like I had found my people. I've never related with anyone that well. And especially the counselors that worked there just really saw a lot in me in a way that no other adult ever had. Like a lot of adults kind of treated me like I was weird, like in
Yeah.
school and stuff. But like every one of these adults that who are really successful musicians in Toronto, I could name a bunch of them that worked at Toronto Rock Camp that I still keep in touch with to this day. But they were so kind to me, and I was writing these songs, and they were just like, I don't know. I had just never felt understood that well.
Amazing. Tell us who some of the counselors were. Who were the ones that made the biggest
Well,
impact?
the first one that comes to mind is his name is Chuck Magic. He was the yes, his actual name is Chuck Magic. I mean, that is so cool. But Chuck was really, really great and saw the potential in me like crazy. Casey Roberts from Casey Roberts and the Live Revolution was
Okay.
another counselor there. He's really successful, really great musician.
Yeah.
And Rob Brown from Lord Bubba's new jazz project was one of them as well. I just loved all these people, and they made me feel so special at a young age, and they gave me all this confidence. It was really great.
Wow, what a gift. That's fantastic.
Yeah,
So
like
you did
it's
that for your whole adolescence then, like from 14 to 18, you were there.
yep, just
Yeah.
studying music and just being in a band, and I just think it was the most valuable experience ever, just because being in a band is its own skill.
Hmm.
There's just so many, there's so much etiquette and things you have to learn how to do and remember, and I don't know, I just think it was the greatest thing for a young kid who wants to get into music.
Right. That's great. So how many bands have you played with or I know that sometimes you'll step in and you'll play for a band, but you have your band now, but before that, were there other bands that you were playing with like for a long period of time or?
Yeah, I've been in a billion bands. I like can't even count really. It's so funny. I mean, because well, I mean, in the rock camp days, it was like you're set up in like one band per week or whatever.
Right.
So if you count those, it's like astronomical. But
Yeah.
after that, I mean, there's been so many. I sang in a funk band for a long time, and we performed all the time. It was great. It was called Cosmic Mojo. I was in a number of punk bands. One called Farva's Revenge. We made one album. Another one called Orbiting Death Ray that made another album I'm really proud of. And then my current band, Shot Down Twice, I just made 2 albums with them. So
Great. And you guys just released a video.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah, we
That's
released a bunch. So yeah, I've been
good.
proud of it for the last few years.
Yeah, that's amazing. So, what do you think? I know people have compared your voice to Ann Wilson from Heart. Do you like being compared to other musicians, or how does that make you feel?
I do, because I mean, I think it's just natural. We all do. Like, I mean, every time I see an artist, you know, I can usually think of who they remind me of. And sometimes if I say it, you know, I'll feel bad. And especially if they get the same artist all the time. But I just feel like the nice thing about me and why I feel good about it is because I really rarely get the same artists compared. Like, I really get compared to a lot of different ones. So I know I'm not too much of a carbon copy of anyone.
Yeah,
But
great.
I mean, Ann Wilson is a great one. I mean, I take that as a huge compliment just because she's, I mean, it's just the loud lady voice.
Yeah,
So
loud lady voice. Exactly. I love.
I, I'm also loud.
Yeah.
So,
So, growing up, Carmen, I'm sure the people who have influenced you have changed, but has there been one woman in rock who's been like your ultimate sort of mentor or person that you really looked up to
yes.
in
Oh my gosh.
person?
Well, I have a bunch of them, but my number one is called Jill Janis from the band Huntress.
Okay.
She's so, so good that I just want to cry when I listen to her. Like, I just want to cry. It's like, how can a person sound this good? And she actually, unfortunately, committed suicide a couple years ago. And
Oh,
I was completely heartbroken by that because I was just like, oh my goodness, like what a loss. But anyway,
yeah.
so I will always look up to her. She's amazing. There's another woman called Candace Clotte from the band F's, a French metal band that I really love.
Yeah.
You know, I really love female artists, so I could go on.
Yeah. That's great. That's so awesome. And also you're in an all guys band. So in many ways, I mean, that's I mean, I have no musical talent except for I can keep a beat and I can dance. That's about it. But you know, I think for many, you know, girls growing up, like if somebody asked me what would be one thing that you would want to do that you never had an opportunity to do in your life, I'd say be the lead singer of an all guys band. That would be my dream, you know. So it's really I find it amazing that you're doing that, and I wonder what are the dynamics of that, like how what's it like to jam with just the guys?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because yeah, a lot of people think it's really interesting. Like I was talking to my nana recently, and she was saying the same thing. She's like, I don't understand how you can hang out with all these men all the time. Like all the testosterone would drive me insane. I was just like, yeah, I mean, like I can understand why, but the thing is, like, I mean, I just grew up hanging out with mostly guys just because, like, I mean, at Toronto Rock Camp, for example, it was like all, I mean, it was me and like 4 or 5 other girls, and then the rest was all guys. And most of the bands I've been in, like I've been in a couple of bands with girls, but I've never been in an all-girl band or anything like that, but I really do like hanging out with women, although I am less experienced with it because my bandmates are always my closest friends. That's the people I hang out with the most. So like I have a couple of girlfriends that I hang out with and stuff, but it's just a totally different thing. But I really have learned how to hang out with guys. I know what they're like, and I'm good at, I think that a lot of guys just see me as just one of them in a way, like, but I mean, it's interesting. I think it's just I'm good at making it known kind of what I'm there for.
Great. And I love, I'm not sure who runs the Instagram page for the band, but I do love how they highlight you. And even for International Women's Day, you had a nice shout out. So it's so wonderful to see, women in these positions where you're like in the forefront, you're the lead singer of the band, and then you got all these awesome guys who are lifting you up and, sharing with the world how great you are. It's so wonderful to see that.
Yeah. I think we're really lucky. Like it's really nice culture. I mean, I don't feel like a lot of sexism in my life or anything like in music. I mean, sometimes like maybe from outside sources and stuff, but yeah, my bandmates have been so great to me and I feel very respected and everything. Yeah. So they're great.
That's awesome. And so as far as songwriting goes, Carmen, is the whole band participating in that, or how does that work for you guys?
Yeah, it's so when I first joined, they already had a bunch of songs instrumentally written for me that I just wrote over. But I would just be like, can you play this part for 2 more bars and move this over here? And can we repeat this or whatever? So it's like in that way, I kind of contribute to writing the music. But I mean, I cannot play guitar like nearly like these guys can. So,
yeah.
They took care of all that. And then I write all the lyrics and all the melodies and everything. And I'm a huge lyrics person. So, it's really cool. And then for the second album, we were a little bit more together. We knew each other all a little bit more and we hung out a bit more. So we kind of collaborated even more. So
great. I love it. Okay. I have to read something from the website that describing the lyrics of the songs. So the lyrics are about rage, revenge, and devilish indulgence. I loved it. So tell me, as a 27-year-old woman who's obviously lived quite a few past lives, because you're coming in with lots of wisdom, where are you getting your inspiration from for these lyrics?
It's hard to, I feel like it's just, I think a lot of it is actually from my dreams, interestingly, and a lot of my songs are kind of like, have like Franken lyrics, like there's just like, it'll be about one thing and then kind of trail off into another topic, or I don't know. It's hard to describe my lyrics, but I enjoy trying.
Yeah. But it sounds like you think a lot about things.
Yes.
Do you find when you're writing that your mind, it's almost like a portal to exploration of thoughts and circumstances, and do you allow yourself to sort of fantasize in there where you're not necessarily writing about something you've directly experienced, had the direct experience with? Do you allow you to sort of, yeah,
definitely. Like, I mean, some of my lyrics are pretty much just like written stories. Like they're just kind of, and they'll be based on something maybe loosely from my life, but I'll kind of like take it and go from there. It's hard to explain that. Like my brain is definitely a little bit weird.
I love that though, Carmen, because it's so magical. Like, that's your gift. It's so interesting when you look at artists and you talk to different artists. There's something that happens when we get down to our work. And like, even for me with designing jewelry, I could have all the materials around me. I could be in the worst mood and I can go, what the hell am I doing? This is going to be shit. Like I just, oh, why do I have to do that? And then all of a sudden I start, pulling things together and something beautiful comes of it. And I don't even know how that came out of me. Do you feel that way too sometimes?
Yeah, definitely. I love reading some of my lyrics and being like, wow, I wrote that. That's incredible. Like, it's such a great feeling. And I just feel like you have to let yourself experience that. Like, just feel super proud and just like really pat yourself on the back sometimes and just not feel conceited about it. Because otherwise, what's the point? You know,
Yeah.
if you can't
Yeah.
enjoy your own things. So, yeah, I mean, a lot of the time I'll read my lyrics and I'll just be like, wow. I mean, one of our songs from our last album, like, I've cried listening to because I'm just like, this is so beautiful. I
That's
like
good.
don't even feel like I wrote it.
What song was it?
The song's called Goddess of the Sun, actually. It's the last track of our EP that was released in January.
Okay.
It's a ballad and it's almost like a poppy ballad and it's different than anything I've ever written, but I love that song. I'm super proud of it.
Great. Oh,
And that one's a
that's
lot more literal. That one's more about my, about a tough time in my life and about my family and everything. So it's a bit more literal than the others.
yeah, great. Have you, I know with the pandemic, it's been a challenge. I see you guys have had, posts where, hey, we're coming to, to Thorold or whatever town. And then it's like, no, now we're not. And, that must have been quite something to go through all the time. But when fans are talking to you or, actually, one question quickly. How long has the band been together now? Is it 4 years?
Just
You
over
guys
2 years, actually.
two? Okay, so you got together. Did you get together just before COVID then?
Yeah, like 2 weeks before.
Oh, jeez.
It was so funny and so
Wow.
unexpected.
Okay, so you've built this band in a pandemic, basically.
Yeah, and I don't know. I'm surprised that we pulled it off. Like, I'm surprised that we kept the momentum going because, but I just think that during that first while, we were just writing songs anyway. We weren't ready to play live. So
Yeah.
I just kind of figured like, oh, I'd rather it happen now than, if we had just finished everything and, just getting ready to go out and play. We can't.
Yeah. Aw. So, what's some of the feedback you've had from your fans on your lyrics? Have you?
It's been really, really great, actually. Like, yeah, I mean, not a lot of people really even pay attention to lyrics, which I've found. I mean, I thought that people did a bit more, but I've really found that that's not the case. But I have heard a bunch of people explain how they feel about my lyrics, and it was spot on. Like, my friend Gary Gazoo, love you, Gary. He was saying recently that my lyrics are very like kind of sassy and sarcastic in a way, and I was just like, I'm glad you picked up on that because it's kind of true.
That's so great. Oh, that's amazing. I think your lyrics are being heard, Carmen. And I think that you're going to find as you write more and more and people grow up with you and your music, the curiosity to go back and really listen to what you were writing when you first began, that's just going to keep on increasing, like even like for any of us, like you listen to, I don't know, Robert Plant now with Alison Krauss, and they have these beautiful songs, and then it's like you go back to Led Zeppelin and you want to hear like what was he singing about in 1969 when he had all this power but he didn't even know it, like so that curiosity is always going to be there because like you say, you're telling stories and people want to know your stories for sure.
Yeah, it's a great little time capsule. Like, I mean, I always keep journals and stuff, so I love reading my old journals and whatnot. But I just love songwriting because it's like a time capsule, but like a bit more of a public one. Like, it's the stuff that I'm willing to share with the world. And yeah, when I read my old lyrics, I definitely see a different attitude there. There's a different person there, but it's still very much me.
Yeah, that's great. So I have a weird question for you. My audience of this show is probably like a lot of the women watching would be my age, which is early 50s, right? And so we grew up in a different generation where I think a lot of times a lot of us thought, don't show off, don't it, don't brag about yourself. like everything is very sort of like closed, like it's harder for our generation to like show the gifts to the world that we have. Like we're not all hopping on reels or Instagram, or not that the social media stuff really matters, but just in general, it's a lot harder for this generation to step out of itself. And I've always been a person who, I love looking at the generations beyond me to learn, but I also love looking at the generations coming up behind me, because there's so much wisdom there that we've never had the opportunity to explore, right? So
Yeah.
I love the things you're saying about honoring yourself and recognizing the hard work you've done. And do you want to talk to us a little bit about that, Carmen? Like even you and your friends, like how you do that. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It's true. Like it was definitely a conscious effort for me. Like I felt a lot of pressure to maybe put myself down or be modest in a lot of ways. And I know a lot of musicians like that too, where I'll just be like, that was amazing. And they're like, no, I suck. I'm horrible. And it's just like, and I get that. Why the mindset there. But I really did find that when I started just like taking compliments and like, just being grateful for them and seeing what's good about myself, it helped me a lot. I mean, because I just, I just think that life is so short, and why waste it being negative about yourself,
Yeah, it's great. And it really goes back to self-love and, kindness, starting with being kind to yourself.
Yeah.
And shutting off that negative self-talk and all of that. Yeah.
And I think it helps you be kinder to others too. It's like, I just, when you don't isolate yourself from other people so much and see yourself as so different, it's, you're kind to yourself. It's, I don't know, just being nice and positive in every single way is like, it just bleeds into other areas of your life, I think.
Yeah. And I have to say, your age group, I had a young girl working for me a couple of years ago. Now she's 23 now. She was 19 at the time. But again, I think what you do sometimes, like when I met you, is I look at you as a 22-year-old woman back then when we met, and I think of myself at that age, and I'm like, oh my God, she's like light years ahead of where I was at that age. And that also happened with this young woman who was working with me, and she was from Germany actually. And we went to see Greta Van Fleet at Ontario Place, and it had been a while like since I'd been to like a concert and really rocked it out. And it was wonderful because she was like igniting that fire in me again, like, come on, let's go, let's rock it out, like put on your sparkles and your fringe and your whatever, and no competition. And I think it's really nice because whatever generation you're from, I think that's something women struggle with a lot. It's like a group of girls go out and everybody's looking at the other one, what's she wearing, and now I don't feel so good, and I should have worn what she had on, and her makeup looks better than mine. And this was like, when I think of all that crap growing up, I think, God, I would have really enjoyed myself had I not been preoccupied with all that BS.
Yeah, exactly. I totally agree. And yeah, there's so many ways that I don't want to hold myself back, and I want to realize it now before it's too late. And I do think I agree with you in that it really helps if you have someone there who's like helping you, and it's just like, come on, like, don't be afraid. And I think most of my music teachers were that person for me. Like, I mean, I had mentioned Chuck Magic from Rock Camp. I mean, I remember him so many times just trying to get my confidence up. And I remember those things so well. Like, I just remember performing, and I was really timid and kind of like, doing that. And he would just, I could see him in the audience being like, Carmen, put your fists up, do this. And he was always laughing at me because I was never excited about anything. Like, he was just like, oh, we're gonna perform. And I'd be like, yeah, that's cool. And he just like would laugh at me. And then I started realizing, like, yeah, I mean, it would be so much better to just be like, yes. Yeah. I was like, that is the person I want to be, actually.
That's wonderful. I love it. And your enthusiasm, it shines through, in your personality, when you're performing, even on your social media. I mean, I was saying to you yesterday, like what you did for me with sharing about the interview today. And you said, I've been binge watching Get to Know Her. And I'm like, oh my God, no one's ever used that term. Like it just lifted me up. I did a little happy dance last night when I read that. So it's really, I love that, everything that these music teachers embarked on you. Now you're taking that and you're doing the same for others. And it's something non-negotiable. That's who you are.
It's so true. And I think I really did love that saying, be the person you needed when you were younger.
Yeah.
And I totally agree with that, because so many times in my life, like I just would have really benefited from having someone who, not that my mom has always been like great and there for me and supportive of me and everything. But, like just in school and everything, it would have been really nice to have that. And so, the times when I was younger and people were really encouraging of me and understanding, if I was having a bad day or whatever, like that just made all the difference to me. So I just love being that support system to people. Yeah. Like, I just feel like, one day, there's got to be some people who think back and they're like, well, that girl made me feel really good and wanted and comfortable that day. And like, she wanted me to be there. Like, yes. I love grabbing people's hands and being like, I'm so happy you're here. I do that all the time because I just feel like there's nothing more like welcoming than that.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're feeling it too. Like I can imagine for you, you're getting ready to go on stage, your bands, you guys have practiced, you've done all this stuff and you've let people know and you've done all the work. And then it's like that feeling of when you have a party and is anybody going to show up? And then when they do show up, it's, you think of all the things that led them there. Like it's not just them walking through the door. It's that they've been following you on social media. They're buying your music. They, maybe in some cases they got a babysitter because they wanted to just rock it out with their, whatever it is, or whatever it is they had to do to get there. Maybe they took a cab or took a bus and took a subway and, all those things, because that's how important it is that they're in your world, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I just love how everyone has their story and has what they're going through that day is so different. I just love that. I think that's so exciting. And you never know what kind of a day someone's having. So just being able to brighten people's day is a great thing. And and the audiences have been really, really great. And I just, I always just want everyone to know when they're in the audience, I'm so happy you're here.
Good. Oh, I love that. That's so great. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about your cartooning, your Carmen tunes.
Yes.
Yeah. So tell us, after high school, what was your opinion about school? Did you pursue anything after high school, or what was that?
Yeah, I was kind of trying to decide. It was a really tough time. I didn't know what I was going to do. I was taking a lot of art courses. My mom paid for me to do, like, God bless her, she's amazing. She signed me up for figure drawing courses and then comic book character design. I did animation, like I did a couple weeks of animation at Sheridan College and everything. And so that was really great because it was just fun to learn, and it wasn't for a grade or anything. And I seriously learned so much that still helps me to this day, especially the figure drawing. As much as I don't like it, I'm glad I did it. But after that, I decided to try visual and creative arts, the full 3-year course. But I did a semester of that, but then I just kind of realized it wasn't for me. I didn't think I was a career artist. Because I'm really good with cartoons and everything, but then you go to school and it's like they want you to be good at every single art form. Like they want you to be good at oil painting and printmaking and pencil drawing, chalk and charcoal. I'm just like, but I like to draw clowns with markers.
And lots of red.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just like, but what about my rainbow? Oh, okay. But I felt like a little discouraged. Like I felt like because when I went to the classes, I thought this is about learning, and it's just fun because I'm just learning for the sake of it. But then when I got to the actual art school, they were like, why aren't you already good at this? And like, they were frustrated with me for like not being good with those things. And I just thought, okay, maybe I'll leave this to the pros. But I'm really happy with where I came with art, though. I think I'm in the right place, and I don't think that was the right path for me. And I think that right now I'm doing better than ever because I just learned how to do graphic art, which is really exciting. Oh my God, I'm so happy. So I can turn my my hand drawings into like graphic art now.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. So are we going to be buying NFTs by Carmen North soon?
You can have free ones, free NFTs. Yeah, exactly. Just the right click method.
That's great.
Yeah, I've been making show posters and stuff, and I designed my last album cover and I drew it myself, which I'm so happy I finally got to do that.
Yeah.
That's the first time I've ever actually drawn my own album cover, strangely.
Are you guys printing vinyl?
No, we haven't printed vinyl. We have CDs.
Okay.
And I mean, we're kind of advised against CDs anyway, because people are saying that they're out of date. But I'm like, I don't know. People ask me for CDs all the time.
Yeah, I have a CD in my car.
That's where I listen to a lot of mine. I've got a huge collection back there. So
yeah. Oh, that's great. And I think vinyl is. Do you have a record player at home?
We do have one here, actually.
Yeah,
I love it.
That's great. Oh, that's so awesome. So, Carmen, as far as your cartooning goes, did you have influences growing up, or was it just like you just got down to doodling, or were you like a comic girl? Were you into comic books?
A little bit. Yeah. We had Archie comics and stuff like that.
I wish I could show you. I don't think it's. I have the Archie and Betty doll. Wait, I'm going to grab it, okay?
Oh, yes. I love it. I'm so excited. Get my tea going here. I'm having a little tea party.
So, I will show you. These are my Archie and Betty dolls that I got. Yeah. Aren't they cute? And I got them in 1980.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That is so classic.
Yeah, they're a little like the jeans are falling off. But anyways, yes. Okay, so you like the Archies. Archie was a bit of a jerk, eh, when you read them now?
Yeah. Now when I read it, I'm kind of like, oh, damn. But I feel like I didn't even really understand what was going on when I was a kid. Yes. Like, it was just the pictures and the gags and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a little different now. But yeah, but there was other, like, we liked Calvin and Hobbes.
Yes.
Like the Asterix comics. I don't know if you heard of those. Those are great.
No, I didn't.
And it's there was what else? SpongeBob SquarePants, of course. I think like my art style is very SpongeBob.
Okay. Yeah.
And it just makes me laugh because I went to the animation course, and our first assignment was draw your inspiration for your art, and everyone drew anime. Everyone drew anime except me. So they were just showing like, and we showed them to the class like anime, and I was like, God, when mine comes up, everyone's gonna laugh at me. And it's like, and SpongeBob.
Yours is refreshing. That's so
yeah,
good.
Exactly. But I just love that art style. It's just like colorful and fun, like big black lines, just filled with color. Like that is my style. So
I love it. Did you like The Simpsons?
Yes, I love The Simpsons. Yes,
okay.
Like all cartoons like that, like the adult cartoons.
Yeah, there's a really interesting interview with Conan O'Brien where he's talking about The Simpsons and writing, for The Simpsons and all that. But he also talks about how our generation, we grew up with Looney Tunes, right?
Yeah, that's another one.
Yeah, and he makes a really good point in that he says, when you think about the guys who were writing Looney Tunes, who they were all old white men, like they.
Yep.
and he goes, and even when you look at like how the characters died, like an anvil comes flying down. He goes like, this is like stuff from the 1800s. Like this is not. This is not 1970s, at the time that Looney Tunes were kind of out. But anyway, it's just hilarious, like how he talks about the influences that the Looney Tunes guys had because they were so old.
Yeah, exactly. So different world entirely at that time. Yeah, I mean, those are classic. I just love zany cartoons like that, just like big, crazy facial expressions and like weird things that could never happening, but it's not questioned at all. I mean, that's my favorite.
Yeah. It's great. It's such an escape, isn't it?
Yeah. It just makes me laugh. And I mean, I don't watch as much cartoons as I did when I was younger, obviously, but I will never stop drawing them.
Yeah, good for you. I love it. I remember when it was in the late 70s, early 80s, there was an Archie's cartoon. Did you ever see that?
Like the Archies, like the band?
Archie. Yeah, So they had, like, we had the comics, of course, and then all of a sudden there's like an Archie's TV show. And when I was a kid, we didn't have cable. We had a black and white TV, but my Oma in Toronto, she had cable and she had color TV. And I remember flipping the channels. It was like she had like a channel changer. It plugged into the TV, but you had to press buttons to change the channels. I don't remember what the thing was called. And I remember pressing, and all of a sudden I see in full color, like Archie and Betty, and they're moving around. It's like, oh my God, this is like a show. Yeah.
It's so cool. Yeah, the first time I saw that, I was just like, oh my God.
Remember that feeling where you're like, oh my God, it was just the most exciting thing in the world.
Yeah.
Because you kind of live in that cartoon world.
Yeah. It's just like, just hearing a voice come out of their mouth and stuff is just so surreal. So
yeah. Is that something you'd ever do? You'd be so good at that, being like a voice of a cartoon. Like if you made a cartoon, an animated strip of your cartoons and you did the voices. Oh my God.
Oh God. I would love to do that actually. Cause I've done like something close to that. My friend was in college for, just for sound for TV and everything. And he had a project where the assignment was they're given a trailer for a movie, but with no audio. And he had to make the audio himself. So it was the Incredibles trailer. And so he got me to play Mrs. Incredible. So I had to sync up my lips to what she was doing. And so, yeah, I mean, it's a bit challenging, but it's so fun and such a cool thing. I would love to be a part of something like that for sure.
Yeah.
And would love to do animating as well.
Yeah. Oh, I'd love to see what you produce. You got to keep me posted on that. So tell the folks how they can check you guys out now. What are you back on the road again, or what's happening now?
I'm actually just off the road now. Like now just taking some time and, thinking about what's going to happen next and whatnot. And so all of our music is on shotdowntwice.com. And I made lots of cute little cartoons on the website as well. So you might enjoy that. And both albums are there. And that's pretty much the best place to see anything the band's doing. And other than that, just that's about it. Right now, I'm just chilling, living downtown, and
are you in Hamilton now, Carmen?
In Oakville, actually, as of this weekend.
Nice. Oh, that's great. Downtown Oakville's so nice.
I love it.
Yeah, I want to know the name of the band, Shot Down Twice. I love that name.
Yeah.
You come up with it, or had the guys already?
Yeah, they came up with it before I joined the band, actually. So like they already had it figured out. But I was just like, okay, I'll work with that. I don't know. I think partly it was there just because it sounds cool, and because I think they had this whole idea like "Shut Down Twice, Got Up Once" is the name of our album. So that was kind of the concept. I don't know.
Right. It's great. I love it.
Yeah, awesome. It's a triumphant theme,
Yeah, for sure. That's great. So what are your sort of hopes for the future with the band, with yourself, with all the things you're working on? Do you have like a dream that you're heading towards, or? A European tour, anything like that?
Oh, I would love to go touring in Europe one day. That would be so
Yes.
cool.
And who would you want to open for?
Oh,
Not that you
honestly,
couldn't be the headliner, but you know what I'm saying.
my top choice of like attainable bands, like an attainable huge band that I could open up for, is The Darkness, which
Oh yeah.
like a UK band, I believe. But I've seen them live several times. I've been a huge fan my whole life, and yeah, I would just love to open up for them one day. I would feel like I've made it. I feel like my dad would be super happy about it too.
Oh, fantastic. Have you contacted them? Do they know about you?
No, I mean they're pretty big, so I don't know. I haven't
Yeah.
tried or anything, but honestly, I feel like they would love our music. I mean, my singing style is extremely inspired by Justin Hawkins of The Darkness.
Yeah.
Like just all the wah! Like just that super high up stuff. Like
I love
just,
it.
yeah, I'm totally inspired by that band. So that would be life changing.
Okay, well, I think that I want to see that happen. I feel like that's a lot closer than you think.
I feel like it could actually happen.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
we'll see.
For sure. Well, Carmen, thank you so much. Your friend Norm Files has been clapping and sending like celebration stuff, and he also said she was amazing about your the woman who passed away 2 years ago, the rock star that you love.
Oh yeah, Jill Janis, love her.
Yeah.
Thank you, Norm. Norm is amazing. He's done a lot of great photography at our shows and stuff, and he's a great guy.
Yeah, awesome. And Rachel or Rochelle Marson.
That's my
yay.
mom.
Yeah. Is that your mom?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, that's so great. She said, great interview. And Ua Tink, I don't know if you know her. I know her. She says hello.
That's
Yeah. So we've got lots of people chiming in and watching live. So this is really great. And as you know, we'll have the interview on YouTube later on tonight. So we can keep sharing the awesome story of Carmen North. I'm so excited.
Yay. Awesome.
All right,
so fun.
Good. I'm so glad you enjoyed it. And I'm really happy we had the time and we could talk about all this stuff. It's so great. So I'm going to put you back into our virtual green room. I'll be back with you in a second. But thank you, Carmen, for all your time and sharing with us. It's great.
Thanks, everyone. You're awesome.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. What a great conversation with Carmen. I could talk to her for another hour easy. Enjoy the rest of your day. Keep on showing the world your sparkle. Remember to go check out brendabadome.com if you want to get some nice new clothes for spring from a Canadian designer, and use the coupon code GET2KNOWHER for 22% off. And while you're online, make sure to check out glamjewels.com and get yourself some coordinating accessories. Have a wonderful rest of your day. If you are watching this on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button, because we would love to have you on every week with us as we talk to amazing, inspiring, wonderful women. Talk to you soon, and we'll see you back here next week. Bye for now.